I have to firstly, everybody, this is Khaya Nunu. I have known Khaya for longer than he realizes, um, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I just
Okay.
want you to meet a musician who is a whole person too. So you'll get to understand all of this. Firstly, I think he's a little bit shocked. So
Mhm.
Kaya, what have you been up to in this lockdown period? Like, are you working from home? What's happening?
Um, it has been a mixture of working from home, and when there is a need, I do go to the office.
Mm,
Yes, so
mm.
it's been trying to keep safe.
Yeah, no, that's wise. Yeah, these days,
Yeah,
the things that we all hold dear are becoming like very dangerous times, like funerals and church services. It's
yes,
really a complete change in how we do things, no?
exactly. Yeah.
So, to put you out of your misery, yeah, the first thing I knew about you was that Kaya Nunu equals quartet music. So what's your journey
Okay.
been? What's your journey been with quartet music?
uh, um, Maybe my influence with quartet music started whilst I was very young. My parents, I think it's quartet and choir music. My parents would go to music festivals. They would carry those, they would record uh, with those cassettes and then come back. We listen to those tapes. And then in East London, when I was growing up, there were quartets like the Joyful Brothers. So listened to those a lot
Mm-hmm.
until I was old enough to be in a male voice. And then from there we formed Advent 4. That was about 95. So that's when now I was fully involved in quartets.
Okay, and look, I'm not even going to ask you which part you sing. I mean, it's obvious. Nay,
Yeah.
it's the part in quartet singing that I always listen for. I always listen to how the baritone tends to give the quartet dignity. That's just where I am. It settles it,
Yeah.
and you don't disappoint in that regard. So, what do you think of baritone singing?
Okay, thanks for the compliment. Baritone for me, I can't even remember when how I knew that I sang baritone, but I think it's one of the parts I enjoy. I wouldn't trade it for any other, except when it's by when I'm forced to sing another part. But I think for me it is, as you say, for me it's more like an alto in an SATB.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I like what you said the other time we were practicing with CTE, that baritones don't need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
People just need to realize that yes, they are there. So I
Exactly.
think that's what I like as well about the part. It is
Mm,
more subtle, and
mm,
when
mm.
it's going wrong, you will know.
Yeah, and it can go wrong in a number of ways. But speaking of CTE, um, so in CTE, I was used to smile alone inside when somebody's struggling with a part, like any part. Kaya will be able to help them. So Kaya will be able to help the first tenors, help the basses, help the altos, even the sopranos. So it's clear that you are very musical. It's so what's your musical journey? What have you done musically?
It all started when growing up. I never had a nanny, so when
Really?
my went to choir practices, I think I was 5 6 years. They would I would tag along when they were practicing for music festivals. So that's where I think I learned music. I mean, at the age of by the age of 13, I was able to sing in the glory of the Lord from Messiah.
What?
Um, yes, so I think from there, that's how I developed the love for music, and also I can't pinpoint how it happened, but I was able to, when we're practicing or we are singing, I can hear something going wrong there while singing. But so I think that has I think that's where it all started, when I was still growing, and then I realized that I had the talent for music. I went to do piano lessons,
Aha.
um, uh, grade one up until grade five. But I stopped because I think the approach, probably it was a wrong approach, because I was just practicing for the exam.
Mm.
So it was more focused on exams. So I just I left it at that. But I it's something that I still want to do.
But you
So
know what?
that has been,
Sorry, man. I
yes,
get excited when people when people do something with their skill, because you know you find out you can play, you find out it works for you, because for some people learning to read music is not their thing, you know, and we accept that. But when you find that spark, you know, and you find, oh, you can read, and figuring out like how it works for you and how you want it to be a part of your life, I think is just as important as learning to play the instrument, you know, so what it means to
yes,
you. So if at grade five, and believe me, grade five is so respectable, if at grade five you decide, okay, I've had enough of formal music lessons now, I'm going to play and I'm going to find my place, I think that's awesome, you know. But also,
yeah,
nobody can take that away from you. You now
yes,
read music, you know, sheet music, staff notation,
yes,
and
yes.
you read it and you play it. Yeah, we must talk about your playing still. I'm still on the reading music part. And I noticed that that's also what helps you. Now I've noticed something: people who read music, who can read their part and sing, that's one thing. But when you can read your
Yes,
part and sing and listen to what's happening around you, you're probably in a different category of musician. You know, that's what music
okay.
leaders can do, like people who are choir directors and people who lead groups and people who arrange music. They can hear what everybody else is doing. So
Yes.
you are a leader in music and you know it. Don't smile, you know it. I mean, I know you were like that in East London. So
Yes.
I would love to hear from you. What is it like? You're a leader in music in your hometown, right? And then you move to another
Yes.
place. How did you manage to assume this role? You're still in music leadership. How did you manage to assume this role even in Cape Town?
Um, I think it was by when I came to Cape Town, I didn't really have a church that I was attending. So I remember I went to Belleville South a few times. So I was still deciding whether I'll go to Belleville South and then I would go to Kayali to church. But it
Oh,
happened that,
so Belleville had a
yes, but
chance.
it, yes, I loved the music, but Konke knew me from way back, Konke Zagata. So because she saw me coming to Kayale too, so she asked me in the afternoon to come and assist with the youth choir.
Ah,
So I think that's how then I had that responsibility. Then I ended up being in Kayale too. And then I knew people there as well. We sang together in with RMC or Tael or Joacha. So that's how in a way it was not difficult for me to blend in
mm,
with the in Cape Town.
okay. Yeah, I thought, I mean, yeah, I'm asking because I lived in Joburg for
Mm,
18 months. Felt like 18 years. And in the in the 18 months I lived in Joburg, I didn't play the piano in church once. And
Yeah.
I found it very difficult, you know.
Mm.
I even told myself, Lisa, you also need to learn to be a congregant, like sit in the congregation, enjoy, be fed,
Yes.
but I was itching to play. But there were abundance of pianists where I was. And when
Yes.
I came back to Cape Town, and the first Sabbath that I sat down behind the piano, I really felt like I missed it. So I'm
Mm.
glad that, you were able to be roped in your role in Cape Town. And I know you were
Yes.
roped in quite a few ways. So you said that your parents used to take you with to choir practice. Do you think that that had an influence on your favorite style of music?
Uh, I would say yes, but growing up, I think I've grown to listen to various types of music. For instance, just yesterday I was listening to one of my favorite songs. It's Tupac and Dr. Dre, California Love.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I listen to, yes, my first love is choir music, but I listen to all sorts of music, jazz, mbaqanga, except maybe for hip hop to a certain extent, but I
Mm.
listen just to about everything. But yes, definitely, I was influenced by my parents when I was still very young.
It's
Oh, and
interesting. Mm.
I also used to love heritage. You know, most people love, especially people who sing quartet music. They love the heralds and all that. But my favorite is the heritage more than the heralds.
The Heritage Quartet.
Heritage singers.
Oh, the full group. Wow. Okay. Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, some revelations because I thought heralds category. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
so so um in terms of your piano playing now, I've never heard you play. I would hear you,
Okay.
before CTE practices, you know what happens. Everybody wants to just play a little bit or talk or sing or whatever. And I would slightly try and listen there, when you would go and play something, but that's not you can't get a full appreciation. So
Yes. Yes.
we were at this wedding, and there was a keyboard at the wedding. And me and keyboards,
Yes.
well, I don't know if you know, but now you know. Now everybody knows. Like, if it doesn't feel like a piano. So, yeah, I remember you played the hymn. You even still said that I could, Lisa, you just play it, and I didn't want to because, yeah. So you played the hymn, and that's actually, believe it or not, the first time that I heard you play. And what I heard was
Okay.
like intelligent playing. It was playing because when you're playing a hymn, I'm sure you know this. There's sort of this balance that you need to get. You need to play the notes that are written, not for the sake of being
Yes.
accurate, but for the sake of that's the broadest amount of people will be able to sing that harmony that's written in the hymnal. So you have to play that, but
Yes.
also you have to be in tune with the congregation. There are things that your congregation will do, that they will, little things that they put in, and you accommodate that. So that's what I
Yes.
was
Yes.
nervous
Yes.
about. I thought
Oh, okay.
99% of the people at the wedding, so yeah, you'll play in the right vibe. But I must say, I was very impressed that day. That day I heard, no, Khaya can play.
Thank you, Lisa. But you know we've had this conversation. It's not at the level that I want. Can I also say something to you? A few years back, I wanted to leave work and go study music,
I remember.
but unfortunately, yes, UCT. I even wanted to take their foundation course, more like bridging. But those guys want a grade 8 for that foundation course. The standards was very high. But yeah, then things things happen. That's how passionate I am with music, piano, and all that. So
That's
I
awesome.
hope at some point I will get there.
I'm saying that because if I didn't do grade 8 while I was still in high school, I don't know if I would have done it, because it takes an extraordinary amount of, what is it? Concentration is one thing, like commitment in it. And I don't know if an adult can do that. So prove me wrong, no? Show me the grade 8 one day. But I personally don't think that it's even that important. I think that
Yeah.
grade 8 is, for me, leaning towards mastery, of an
Okay.
instrument, although the harmony that you do in theory. So
Okay.
usually your piano is two grade, your practical is 2 grades ahead of your theory. So by the time you
Yes.
in grade 8, you're doing grade 6 theory, right? And
Okay.
grade 6 theory, it's the worst one, but it's the one where you do harmony and counterpoint, they call it, and theory and history, so
Okay.
that for me was some new things, but in terms of playing, it was just mastering the skill. So
Okay.
use it, don't use it. Yeah, instead you went and did a master's degree in.
In information technology. Hey, that was tough. Eh?
Was it?
Yeah, it is. Research is tough.
Yeah, no, research is tough.
But at the end of the day, the satisfaction of finishing it was quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was very proud for you, that you could say, that, I mean, whether or not you do a PhD in the future, which, you should, but whether or not you do a PhD in the future, you have a master's degree, and it's not even so much about the field, it is about the rigor of completing, putting
Yes.
together a
Yes.
research project is not a joke. Carrying it out
Yeah.
is not a joke, and then writing it up. Yeah, I've seen enough of the pressure that it puts on people to know that you did a big thing. And
Yeah. Thank
it's
you.
a
Thank
good
you very much,
example.
Nelson.
It's a good example for people to follow. I don't want to be like, I don't want to like push buttons and stuff, no. But I really would like your opinion on, what do you think is happening with church music?
Uh, uh, I think we are maybe at a congregational level, and I've had this chat with Dalami, that I think we have not put enough effort to nurture and develop music.
Mm,
We end up at the talent phase,
I love
then
that.
it is not developed much much further.
Mm,
So I think that's where we are lacking. And then I also think I'm not sure whether at the beginning or now, where we never gave enough room for our composers to flourish, because I think my group is guilty of that. We love singing music of Americans, Wayne
mm,
Hooper, Handel, and all that, and not give enough mileage to local composers. So I think we are growing up, it's something we have started to do, especially with the groups I'm involved in.
mm.
Yeah. So I think it's at that level where we didn't grow it enough to help us as well. And I think also the fact that we can't live off the music to a certain extent um, leads us to just be satisfied at just singing in church. How that is developed, how we live off and make money out of it, has not necessarily been encouraged. So
Mm.
it's a multiple of multi pronged issues.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm, mm. I agree with everything. I don't even know where to start, but I fully agree with you. I do think that the indictment is on us, that we have not paid
yeah,
attention to who is coming behind us, like younger than us.
mm,
And also,
mm,
we're sitting with, because of that thing that you said, we support talent. We
yeah,
don't look at the development and the growth of a musician. Talent can be there, but it's only one part. you know we need to take
yes,
care of the
yes,
musicians too. And now we're
correct.
sitting with a whole lot of people with heads bigger than the circumsphere, is that even a word, circumference of the earth. And they don't want to work together, think they're better than the other, and we lose that
Yeah.
connection. And music is all about connection. It's all about
Yes, yes,
working with other people. And you've had a
yes,
couple of projects. They were sad occasions. I remember the one sad occasion, but you and I think it was you and Ongama and Lungela and
Lungelo,
Siki and Lungile and Talami, and
yes,
you got everybody. I mean, you were running that music committee, a music committee for a funeral. Wow. You were running that, and somehow, I mean, I sat there and I was touched by the fact that
yes.
everybody came together, and that I could enjoy the unique different offering that every group has to give. How was that experience putting that together?
Uh, that was a great experience. Yes, the occasion was set, but working with those Lungela. Lungela is one person who's very humble and yet very, very good because he put
Yes,
everything together
yes.
as well. So it was quite humbling to work with those people. And I like what you are saying, that, and it has been my philosophy that for you as a musician to grow, you need to work with other people. I mean, people don't want to collaborate with other groups, so they just want to sing alone. I just don't understand how people will grow.
Mm,
And just to touch on something, I think a few months back, because of trying to develop the talent, I even offered myself to transcribe music for upcoming composers. Difficult as it can be, but any person can just send me their audio, then I'll just transcribe it so that at least if they want to circulate their music, at least we're able. We can't say no. We don't have access to
mm.
their music. Yeah.
Yo, Kaya, the benevolent. Um, so we're saying it again to everybody. If you have music that you need transcribed, speak to Kaya. Ne? You can inbox him on all the platforms. I don't have permission to give you his number, so I won't. But you can inbox him on Facebook inbox, and just he'll do the things that make the parts to be done. Um, I think that's a wonderful thing to offer people.
Yeah.
Something else you mentioned was that we are we are excited about doing covers, and then we even want to do the covers just like the others. So if you do a King Zedel song, then all the voice parts must sound exactly like the person. I
Yeah.
I I prefer, not to sing with track. That's my one reason for preferring not to sing with backtracks, because the temptation, not only from the performer but also from the listener, because they know how it
Yes.
sounds when Gaither sings it. Now they want that same thing when you sing it. Nah, me bro.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so what do you think we can do to encourage the use of original music, to encourage the writing of it and the use of it?
Uh, I think we have we have talked a lot about not singing music, and I think it's we just need to do it now.
Mm,
For instance, we need to source that music, find it from the people who are writing music. For instance, with Advent 4, we tried, especially with our last album, where we got music from Lutando Mbengo, who's a brilliant composer. So it's something we need. We just need to do it now and encourage as much. Get word out there who is writing, and also be willing as musicians to fork out money to buy those compositions.
Thank you.
Because that's one of the things. People just want to be given music, and then how are the other people living? Yeah, so
Exactly.
I think it's what we need to get into that habit of getting that music for ourselves, and also writing the music as well.
Yeah, and not being afraid to share what we've written, because that's been my thing. I write quite a bit, but I never let anybody see or hear it. Yeah, but that's changing. Don't
But your
worry.
music is beautiful. So, okay.
Thanks. It's changing. So yeah, I agree. We need to just start doing it. We've been talking about,
Yeah.
we need to do this for a long time. We just need to start doing it. I loved that album. That the latest album from the quartet, Advent 4.
Yes.
I
Indeed.
listened to it in my way. My way of listening to an album that I've chosen to listen to is to listen from start to finish without stopping.
Okay.
I don't skip a track. I
Okay.
listen from the first to the end. I want to get the whole feeling, and then out of that, we'll develop favorites. So I remember us having a discussion, and you told me the song that you love on that album is Fool's Wisdom. And I thought that's such a deep
Yeah.
song. It's deep not only in its
Yeah.
message, but also its style. Its style is that
Yeah.
folky 70s thing. And you guys you did an incredible job of that song. And there was another one that was like not in the style that I was expecting, and I loved it. How did you cope with that? Because I mean, you all did traditional quartet sounding songs, and spirituals and stuff, and hymns that are in quartet arrangements. But
Yeah.
you also had you also had accompaniment and so on, and you went into various genres. How was it like?
Uh, it was quite challenging, and also it's something we've always wanted to do, because I think one of the shortcomings with our groups is that we get bogged down to who is going to listen to our music. No, our music,
Yes,
old people listen to our music, so we end up not venturing enough with other styles.
so true.
So what we wanted to do was just to, in a subtle way, just to widen our styles, not going to the far end, but just to but it was quite exciting. And most when artists record, sometimes it's not easy to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
So but I think it's one of the albums I can listen to and enjoy. So it
Oh,
was more of about reaching out to different listeners as well, do different styles and challenge yourselves with different styles as well. Yeah. So I
yeah.
think that's what defines a musician. I've listened to Heritage. Heritage has done so many different styles, country, jazz, and everything. So I think we also needed to do that as well.
And as sort of the ultimate level in doing that, maintaining your sound. So there is an identifiable
Yes.
Advent 4 sound. No? If you listen to their baritone, you'll know it's
Yes.
them. Then they
Yes.
play around with other genres and all of that. But that playing around does not dilute who you are. That for me is an
Yes.
important distinction when I make, as to when it's a quality approach to doing a different kind of genre. When the,
Yeah.
the the authentic still remains. I really love that about Advent 4. Yeah, it's a
Thank
really
you.
really cool
And
album.
Thank you. And I think it goes with, we've been singing together for like 25 years now.
I will.
So
But
I
but
think that
then you
also
are 25 years old. How is that possible?
we started singing. Oh, Dosa is guilty of that as well. He's very young, eh?
Ne? Okay, so you've been so there is an understanding already between you, you know.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really really cool. Like, the time is never enough for these conversations, because I feel like I'm
I
just
know.
getting started, and like, the time is like finished. But I want to ask you, what is in Kaya's musical future? What's in the pipeline for you?
Uh, I think for me, what I really need to do, Lisa, I need to do my piano now.
You want to
I
do
need
that?
to do that. I have so many ideas about music, which I share with people sometimes. And also, one of the things, my passion, especially maybe leading to next year, I want to finish the second book for Pastor Yaze, who's been writing music since 50s or 60s, but his music was never
Published.
uh, published. So we published the first book. So
Awesome.
I have about 20 or so more songs that I need to do as well, and transcribe and all of that. So I think musically that is what I want to do. I want to perfect my voice. I want to help upcoming artists as well in a way I can, in any way I can. So my piano, my voice, and helping others in writing their music.
Wow. Did you listen to what he just said? Did you listen to what he just said? This is an experienced musician. He knows exactly what he's doing. He plays the piano. He's conducted. He sings in groups and stuff. And he says that he wants to improve his voice. That is the kind of humility we are missing, you know? If you cannot see that your own voice can always do with improvement, that's how you stay relevant, actually. That's how you stay current. That's how your voice stays at its best. It's when you continually try to improve it, no matter how much experience you have. Okay, sermon over. We're talking to Khaya. So, Khaya, I just wanted to say thank you. I didn't really know you before you moved to Cape Town. Before you became sort of involved, I quickly saw, Remnant, this guy is playing. I know he's conducting. You know, um, and the musician that I've come to know is one who strives for quality, one who can work with others, and one who is willing to give of himself. You're willing to help, you're willing to help this one out and help that one. I really, I admire that. And I just wanted to say thank you for that, because we need it. And also thank you for being the choral connection. You are like my choral conscience. um, because because you have a particular affinity for choral music, and properly executed choral music. So thank you for that
Yeah.
influence. It's not going to waste in Cape Town. We're still trying our best to keep it alive. And yes, thank you so much for sparing these few minutes in your lunchtime to talk to me.
Okay, Lisa, thank you as well for this conversation. I think, as we alluded earlier, that we grow as musicians by also learning from others, and I think I've also learned a lot from you with my time with CTE. Uh, Believe you me, some of the things I learn from you, I go and implement them somewhere. So
I do the same.
thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes.
I do the same. Awesome. We'll talk again then, hey? Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kaya.
Lisa.
All
All the
right.
best. Okay.
Bye.